ClubMX Network production.
Welcome to the Troy Lee Designs and Racetech Suspension and Engines Blair Matthes Project.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Troy Lee Designs Racetech Blair Matthes Project. Yeah, one round down in the outdoors. So now we can look at what we got right and what we got wrong, which for me is a lot of things right and very little wrong. But we'll get into that, man. Thanks for watching and listening. Appreciate it. Troy Lee Design, the leader in high-performance action sports gear since 1981. Troy started making those visors in his mom's oven. And then it went from there into custom helmets and then gear and mountain biking. And that's where they're at today. And I can't wait to see the TLD Ducati team next year as well. If you want a discount from the folks at Troy Lee Designs in the mountain bike world or the motocross world, please email us using the contact form on ClubMX. We'll pass you on a code to save with TLD. Marvin Muscan, Troy Lee Designs ambassador now. So I talked to Marv this past weekend. He's going to do a bunch of stuff, and which will make our producer, Kellen Brower, very happy. Racetech as well, racetech.com. Privateer proven, suspension work, moto work, all of it. The Racetech guys have been a big part of all things ClubMX for a while, and we thank them. Really cool guys, checkers, and everybody down there at Racetech doing the God's work on motorcycle. And if you want a discount, tell me listen to Pulp. Tell me listen to the Blair Matthes Project here, and they'll give you a discount. So thank you to that and those guys as well. Zool, Seat Concepts, Firepower, Maxxis, Decal Works, ASV Levers, Alpine Stars, all on board with us later. We'll tell you more about them as we go on with the show. But I'm Steve Matthes. With me there over there in the Blair Matthes Project is the Blair part, the Daniel Blair. What's up, DB?
Hot take, Steve. Eli Tomac's going to suck this summer.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got a little heat for that. But that was a hot take that I don't necessarily believe in, right? Like that was a hot take. We threw it out there. But the fraud's take on Joe Shimoda, Kellen.
He was good.
And trust me, DB, he was reminding us in the press tent as well.
Oh, and the group text too. Kellen was he was very, that was even before the motos were over. He was already chirping in the group text.
I don't know about before the motos were over, but yeah, I mean, look, I just call it like I see it. And I think I called it pretty darn good. So
Joe, and also Joe had to pass everyone but Deegs. You know, he went through everybody. Like it was good. So Joe's that's an exciting thing to talk about for sure. But let's we got a lot of topics to get into and a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to the opener. What we got right, what we got wrong. Daniel, you can start with what you got right first. Just one at a time. Let's go one at a time here.
All right, but we're going to share the first one, which was the Prado expectations being minimized a little bit. And I think there was a lot of people out there who were on the same page as us where it was like, hey, like there's a lot of reasons why the guy isn't going to come out and be like, he's not going to light the world on fire at the very first one. There's a lot going against him, a new bike, new format for him, new racetracks for him. Even though he's ridden Fox Raceway, he didn't race it under those conditions and coming back from an injury. Like if you pile all those things up together, I don't think you can go in with that high of expectations, even with the resume. And both of us were kind of on that, hey, I don't know what it's going to look like, but simmer down on the podium talk and winning talk. So I'll start there. And that's a shared one for us. We were both kind of right on that one.
Yeah, you're right. Look, the fantasy ClubMX fantasy pod last week, there was huge Prado fans in there. A lot of people have been talking about Prado. I mean, I had someone from Kawasaki tell me that, that's our guy to win. And I'm like, this year? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, what? Like, this was a long time ago, and he did get hurt, but yeah, man, it's the same stuff that we talked about, the adaptation to the Quick USA program, all of that. But listen, I'll tell you, getting caught and passed by Jason Anderson in Moto 2, that's not acceptable if you're Jorge Prado. I don't know why he didn't run the scoop tire. He got decent starts. Even without a scoop, he was, around 6th and 7th, both motos off the start. So he managed to make it work okay without the scoop. But yeah, certainly not a great debut for Jorge, and he's got a long road ahead of him. But I'm not saying he can't win. Like I could in 2026 with more time on the bike and more time on the US and all of that. Sure, yeah, let's talk about wins. But I think for Jorge, podiums here and there and leading some laps is a really good job. But I would back it down on anything other than that. So,
yeah.
All right.
Another
thing I think I got right, and again, this is not a big deal, was overwhelmingly I'm like, Deegs is the man. Deegs is the guy. He's heavily favored, all of that. And he showed nothing but why at Paula. Great endurance, great speed, top 5 starts, worked through everybody, pulled away. Joe did hang with him for a little bit at one point, but no, Hayden Deegan is going to dominate this class. I'm not calling perfect season. I'm not calling 11 wins or anything. Daniel, you said 9, I think, last week, which that's probably not far off if he stays injury-free. But that was an easy one, but I'll still take it.
My hot take was 11-0. That was my actual hot take. And again, I actually – I don't know if I feel that it's hot anymore. I feel like that's just the take. Like I don't know about you, but I don't. I'm not here to go 22-0. I can't get on board with that. There's too many variables in dirt bike racing for that to happen, unless it's just an absolute smash, which maybe he will. But 11-0, I actually could see, and it's because I have a hard time seeing anybody put 2 motos on him in a day. And I have a hard time seeing him not be able to recover from any issue that's not dramatic and get back to a second or a third, which would put him in line for an overall. So, yeah. And I think he's going to be better in Moto 2. So I'm not saying he's going to go in 11-0, but I think it would take something very, very special to beat him straight up in a day, which means it's kind of the ball in his court. Like, can you execute? And to me, the first 15 minutes, him just kind of letting it come to him. I mean, they yarded him the first moto. They checked out on him, and he didn't even blink. Because I think the guy understands that in the last 15 to 20 minutes, he's stronger than everybody. If he just gets through it without an issue, learns the track, gets comfortable with the bike, then he could just turn it on to another level. And will he win every moto? I don't think so. I think he'll get beat by some guys. They'll sneak some on him. But, Steve, I'm straight up. I don't think 11-0 is such a crazy take. He's strong enough to do that, especially
So
late.
I was going to ask you who wins more overalls, Jett or Hayden, and you're going to go with Hayden. See, I'll go with Jett. Just because of the unpredictability of the 250 class. The margins of error on 250 class are smaller. He is racing against less experienced racers, so there is that. But I'll just go with Jett will win more overalls.
250 nonsense, right? 250 nonsense exists.
Yeah,
So.
but it was pretty amazing. All right, what did you get wrong, Daniel?
Well, I definitely was off on my Master Pull hype, and I'm not gonna say it was a total loss yet, because what I found out later is that he was like throwing up out of the helmet. I think after the first moto. I learned that today, actually, right before I drove home from club, and I didn't know that, and I just kind of thought, man, he kind of got whooped the first moto. They kind of picked on him, and then second moto, he was back on screen battling with Enzo Timmerman, a rookie in his first race, and I'm like, wow, okay, I was way off on that, because I do see him as a top 5 guy for sure, podium most of the time, and maybe a race moto winner, and maybe he would be the one to sneak in overall like he did last year at High Point. So I'll say for now, I was pretty far off on that, but I'll give him a little bit of time, I guess, because he was sick maybe and throwing up everywhere. But then again, you go into Hangtown, it's supposed to be 1,000,000 degrees this weekend, and I don't see that being great for me either. So I might have to eat this one for a while, and maybe later in the season he comes back around, and I'm like, okay, I can redeem my thought there. But right out of the gate, Steve, I was pretty wrong on that. I had him as a top 3 guy most of the time, and he was not that.
I think I was wrong on J-Mart. Now, did I think that Jeremy Martin would come out and shine at his first race in a while and 8 days on the bike and all of that? No. And he did have some bad luck, but even still, I would think he'd move up further than 2020. He was way back both motos due to first lap incidents. He never got starts or anything like that. And his lap times were 11th place-ish lap times, which is kind of where I thought he would be. But just he didn't look good. He tweeted or Instagram that he got his teeth kicked in, and I would agree with that. I didn't think even a year and a half away from the races, J-Mart, well, less than a year and a half, but away from the races, J-Mart couldn't get up to 12th, from a way back. So I'll say I was wrong about J-Mart.
Yeah, but here's where I think we can defend him, and this goes back to Prado. I could see each one getting a little bit better, because Jeremy has, from what I understand, was not on the bike for 3 months prepping for this and was going to sneak one on everybody. I do think it was somewhat last month-ish. But at the same time, like with Prado, I think every round will get a little bit better for Jeremy as he gets reacclimated. I think he'll get a little stronger, a little faster. He'll get better as it goes east. So I could see both of their trajectories going up as the season goes. I don't know how high Jeremy gets. I remember a few weeks ago we were talking about it, and I don't see podiums. I don't see top 5. I just think that speed I think that's a new speed that he's not at. But I could see him getting into the top 10 and getting some single-digit motos back-to-back and having 7 overall, 8 overall. I could see that. That's where I kind of always pictured him getting to. And the same with Jorge. As he gets more comfortable on the bike, as he goes east and acclimates to the schedule, I could see him going from 7.6 to 6.5 to 5.4 to 3.3. I do see that. And I see him getting to the J. Coop, AP, Hunter level. So I don't think we should be so out on Jorge and so out on Jeremy, but not great first showings. But to me, there's no reason why either one of those two won't climb into better territory over the next month or two. I think that's a fair take.
I think I was right about Hunter Lawrence. I thought he'd be really good. I thought he was quietly very good last year. And, he showed pretty good speed. He's not happy with the Hondas. Him and his brother aren't there yet with the bikes and the outdoor setup. I talked to Darren Lawrence for a while after the race about that, and Lars as well. They got some testing to do. They did it this week. They all stayed back in California to test. But Hunter was good, and I think he was underrated last summer. And he ran third in the first moto, second moto, fourth. I was right that Hunter Lawrence would be right into the mix, in a podium mix. And I feel good about that one, DB.
How about the flashbacks to last year with AP and Hunter? We forget, but they had some really good battles late. I remember Ironman was one of them. There was one other one I can't remember. I just remember being done with the day going, dang, those two. But that was a good second moto battle. I thought both were pretty all in. And I'm with you. Hunter's good. He gets overlooked because of Jett. And I get it. I mean, his brother is an absolute freakazoid, but Hunter is so good, man. He's so business and polished when it comes to every part of the game. The second moto hole shot was maybe the gnarliest one I've maybe ever in the 450 class. He had a bike length on everyone. And I think you're going to see a lot of that. I don't know if he's got the Jett Eli speed. Maybe he can stay up with them a little bit longer, but I don't know if he can run with their pace. And in my opinion, he's probably your third place guy most of the time, with AP in there, J. Coop in there, and then Prado getting to that place. But no, you're right. Hunter doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think he's pretty exceptional. And you were right on that. And I remember some people coming in, even people that I talked to, were like, Hunter, he's been hurt a lot. His shoulder, this shoulder is going to be a tough one, which I know shoulders are tough. But I just trust the guy. He checks every box on the day, and that's what he did. He just literally did his job like he always does, and ended up where he should, which is on the podium. So
when you say run with Eli, and that second moto was tremendous, don't get me wrong, but the first moto, he just got kind of a lonely fourth, So
yeah, I
know there's the Eli Nation, and I'm bringing this up, and now Matthes is shitting on Eli, but incredible second moto. But I think that's what we're going to see from an older rider. He's going to bring it here and there, and then other motos he won't be able to bring it, So 4.2 on the day was fantastic, but I don't think Hangtown Eli's going 2.2, for example, this weekend or whatever, and all over Jett, I think we'll see more of that same idea, but Hangtown is a good track for him. I mean, a lot of them are, but I definitely got Mikhail Harup wrong. He crashed in both motos, so there is that, but man, I just thought he'd be closer to the front. Like J-Mart, I thought he'd move up better. I was watching him, and he was kind of stuck behind some guys, like Avery Long I think Avery Long gave it to him for a long time in one of the motos before Avery, I think, crashed or something. But I just didn't have Harup. We were talking about him as being a top 5 guy, maybe a podium here and there. And again, just like Prado and just like J-Mart, he'll get better. But right off the bat, I thought we'd see more speed from Harup.
Yeah, me too. Just because the little bit of research I did, I got hyped up kind of in the last week because I didn't know much about him. But then you get into that last week, and I'm like, let me look at what this guy's all about. And I'm like, dang, he's better than I thought. So I kind of jumped on it, not all the way with the finish, but I definitely thought he'd be maybe spicier up in the front. But I'm with you. I'm willing to give him some time too. It's a new series. He's got to acclimate to it. And in all reality, the Triumph bike hasn't been super great outdoors. It's not developed all the way to that level just yet. So it's not like it's a proven package. So I think they still have things to learn probably. So I'm willing to give him some time too. I don't know if I was super publicly on the Alex Fedorstov train, mainly because I was trying to keep expectations down because I just didn't want to put it on the kid. I wanted him to just go in there with none, which that was the plan from the team. For me, it was, it's your point.
Stop it.
Listen,
you were excited about Fedorstov. Absolutely.
Privately.
The fraud can step in.
What did I say? I wasn't that high. I was keeping it tempered.
Am I mixing up group texts with this show?
Yes.
I don't know.
Weege was the one preaching the goods because he came out and watched him ride. I deliberately, publicly was keeping everything low key because I didn't want any hype on the kid. I wanted to go in very quiet. So it wasn't me.
Kellen talked to some guys on the team. They're all wrong about Fedorstov, and it's the expectations were too high, right, Kellen?
Well, I don't think that they were like blowing it out of the water. I think they're just saying that he's fast as hell, but there's no expectations, which is exactly what kind of proved to be right on the weekend. Like,
you think he was fast as hell? I mean, he ran 10th for a while. Is that
pretty good for your pro debut? Dude, like all these guys that normally have a pro debut, like
hold on, he didn't run 10th for a while. So don't put him up in that spot yet.
But he was like,
first moto he did.
He was like 16th for a little bit.
Teens.
Hold on.
He was like 16th for a little bit. But again, not bad for your pro debut. Like,
let me explain thoroughly, just so we can all be on the same page. Everybody, I want everyone on the same page here. That kid was in the B class last year. He also has not raced a lot. And even if you look back at his combines and futures, he's always had a lot of speed, but we've had a hard time finishing races. And he finally did it at Pittsburgh. He got it done. He was solid. He got that win. We moved him to the pro class because he needs gate drops and he needs to start racing. He really hasn't raced that much on a big bike ever, if you look at the actual number of gate drops in his life. So there was no expectation from him from a result standpoint. The hype on speed is real. The kid rips every day with Shock, with Volan, ask Phil, Steve, ask Phil the way that kid rides during the week. But again, that's at home on his home track. We're taking that to the races now. So the expectation is to just go out there and bang bars and whatever it is, and then come home and tell us what you learned and we'll just make it better. So there was no result.
Too much Fedorstov talk. Too much talk.
Well,
Timmerman beat him. Timmerman beat him.
That was first off, here, second off, third off. That was Alex's first time to California, first time on that track, first time at a pro national. Timmerman's been A class for 2 years. That was Alex's first outdoor A race ever. Period.
Oh, did Alex never been to California before? Big scary California? Is California scary?
I mean, maybe. I'm just saying it's if we're gonna give Prado and Harp and all these guys a little bit of a pass too, you got to give him one too. That's his first pro race.
What he did was fine
last year.
It was fine. It was fine. It was cheese pizza. You know, cheese pizza's good.
Cheese pizza's good, man. Who doesn't like a cheese pizza?
Yeah, but you'd rather have pepperoni or ham and pineapple or sausage or something.
No pineapple, no Hawaiian. Hey, no Hawaiian pizza for that kid.
Wygant, people at the track, people in text messages, too much hype for the Russian, and he was just fine.
He got points in his first one. He did 70 minutes without a crash. It was amazing. It was a great first race for him. And I made money. Let's just be clear again. Publicly, I was extremely careful. Privately, I was a little cockier. And a good friend of ours did pay me this week of a bet lost that I won. So,
okay.
You know who we're talking about here. So I'm just saying he did exactly the expectations that we all had for them, and maybe even a little better. 70 minutes and got points. It's awesome. That's what we wanted. So we're stoked.
Sir, this isn't the ClubMX segment of this show. So can we just hold off on that?
All right.
Okay, what else were you right or wrong about?
I wouldn't say wrong. I would say sleeping, and I think you were sleeping too. And I don't know about Kellen. Were your thoughts? I don't remember you saying, but we weren't expecting the Juju performance. I wasn't, and I'm a big Juju fan and a supporter of his. But look, last year, if you look at his results, he had a bunch of top 10s to start the series. I think he got a 6th maybe at High Point. So he has snuck around that 5th spot before. But I didn't expect him to be up front leading, and I don't think he was able to. He didn't go the whole distance, obviously. He definitely tightened up late. I don't know if it was fatigue or just in the moment being up there. But I was not ready for him to be that good at the opening round, especially I heard from the Stopwatch Nationals, people that saw him there said he wasn't super impressive that day. And I haven't heard a lot of impressive takes this last couple weeks from the track. So that one I think we were all sleeping on, and I'll say right now, and as a believer in him, I was surprised that it was that good. I really was. Yeah,
he was. You're right. Thinking about Paul at top 5, I don't know if he came to my mind. You know what I mean? Like, just he was 5 to 10 last year, and that's a good season. And then you would think that he would step up a little bit, but yeah, I thought he would step up this much. So you're probably right. I never thought much about Beaumer. So that's a good point.
And that's
all right. Listen, I want to thank the folks at Zool's Bags. Whether it's backpacks, whether it's moto bags, whether you're taking the kids to sporting events, the Triumph Racing, Phoenix Racing, using Zool's Bags, Zool'sBagCo.com, ZULZBagCo.com, and our guy Zach Osborne, Beta Zone, using Zool's Bag, Trey Kennard, and many others. Great bags. I've got a pair of these bags as well that I use. So Zool'sBagCo.com, Pulp25 code to save with those guys, and Seat Concepts as well. Our guy Maximus over there at Seat Concepts, Beta, Phoenix, Ampro, Yamaha, SLR, Honda, Pulp25 to save 15% off at Seat Concepts. Ride the world with them. They have Race 2.0. And then if you're like a dual sport guy or off-road guy, they got the Comfort Series. So they've been saving asses since 2009. Seat Concepts and Zool's. Thank you to those guys for coming on board. Troy Lee Designs and Race Tech as well. And can't wait to see the TLD Ducati team coming up soon. And we'll maybe throw some silly season in here at the end and see what we got. Let's see what DB's thought about some stuff that I tweeted out yesterday. But
I saw
DB,
that. Hey, hold on. I just remembered I got one really wrong.
Oh.
You asked me about Thrasher, and I said this is going to be the year he gets through the whole summer.
You did say that.
I was a believer, man. I had a vision of him just being solid, and it was looking okay, and then
Kellen,
not, man. Dang it.
Kellen, I didn't ask Wilbur or Jensen. I should have probably. What did he go to the hospital for? Do we know, Kellen?
I don't even know either. I was just surprised that he did 35 minutes and then was going to the hospital.
And then went to the hospital, yeah.
That's what I was wondering. Like, he was in 38th forever, and I'm like, is he going to pass anybody? And then they came around and lapped him, and I'm like, dude, he's just hanging in there, but is he stuck in second gear? I didn't know what was going on, and then then we heard he was hurt and now out. So, yeah, and I'm bummed. I hate that. I like that kid, but, dude, it's just a bad pattern, man. It's a bad pattern. He's like the fastest guy to like never get points outdoors. His number's always bad almost every year too because he doesn't get outdoor points. It's just crazy. But
gets a Supercross win though, and then we're all good.
One a year, right, please.
Chase Sexton, go.
I mean, from the fans' perspective, on this side of the television, I'm just bummed, man. Like I wanted to see the three guys come together because we know Jett and Chase have this kind of thing, this little rivalry. They're pretty respectful, but they definitely aren't buddies. I want to see Eli and Chase do their thing again from 2022, but now Jett's in there. But to me, it was set up so good. But I had this weird feeling going into the whole thing that, man, I could see him being a little flat emotionally just because you go 17 rounds of Supercross, you lose a championship to Cooper Webb. You either go into the outdoors a little flat or really, really motivated. And for some reason, I just had this feeling like it wasn't going to be super special. And then it just fell apart so dang fast with the goggles. They're off, and then he's staying out there, I think, longer than he should have. I don't think he was understanding the moment, which was, hey, dude, pull in, get the goggles, go back to 15th and catch back up to 5th or 6th and lose some points, but don't lose it all. And then, of course, the whole thing just kaboom in one shot. And now we're hearing maybe going to be out for a while, which is like, I don't know. I'm bummed from the fans' perspective. From the racing perspective, though, it was a lot of like, what the heck for me? Like, I don't understand the goggle thing. Pulling them off so early, then staying out there so long, and then, of course, the crash, and then now out, and we haven't heard anything. So I'm more confused and I'd say slightly frustrated on that side. And then from the fans' perspective, just bummed. I think we're missing out on something that could have been cool, and now we're not getting it. Straight up.
Yeah,
and one last thing.
Yep.
Now we're in serious danger because if anything did happen to Eli, please, motocross gods, please no. But if anything did, we are looking at an absolutely boring summer in the 450 class. Like, I mean, it would be terrible if we lose Eli because Jett will just absolutely smash these guys by 8 seconds and then maybe to 12 and 14. He'll just play around all summer, and I don't want that. So we need Eli to hang in there. Otherwise, 450s is going to be pretty bad, Steve.
Again, Eli didn't go 2-2, right?
Yeah, he went 4-2. He warmed up,
Okay.
and then he rode like
right.
the beast. The beast mode woke up. Moto 2, we're good.
He deserves a lot of credit for that second moto. Like when Jett pulled it back out to 3.5, I'm like, oh, there it is. Like he broke him, and then Eli got back up, and so he deserves a lot of credit for that for sure.
But I'm with you. I do think Jett was There was more in his tank. I don't think that was like the best of Jett Lawrence. So
no, he's going to get
elevate.
better. Oh, no.
He's going to get better, but I also think Eli's going to get better because it's going to clean up. I do think he was a little messy in that second moto. As good as it was kind of sloppy in at times and in places. I think he's going to get better, as will Jett, and that's scary for the rest of the field because, again, there's no way for 35 minutes. I don't see anyone hanging with those two unless something weird happens. And again, that's why we need Eli to hang in there because without him, this could be really boring.
You know, we got fourth, right? First moto.
Yeah, I told you his first moto. He was warming up. He's just getting,
right. So you fully think Eli's going 2-2 this weekend, or whatever, 1-1, or like it's just him and Jett?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I do. And again, I'm not saying he's going to beat him, but I think he has a good shot. And I know this Hangtown debate you guys already had with the on the review show, so I don't want to get back into that. But I'm not saying it's his best track, but he is really good there. He won his first ever pro national there. He had that one crazy one where he won by a minute and something. He was, I think, 8 seconds a lap faster than anybody in one moto. I think it was 8 seconds faster than the next guy. So I'm just saying that place is a good one for him. It's going to be it's going to be 100 and something degrees. I feel like that's a place where he probably goes in feeling good. And let's be honest, Jett has been his goofiest there. The year he won his first championship, he barely held that together. Last year, he goofed up. So it's a place where Jett has not been his very best, and Eli has been pretty exceptional. So I'm going in, and maybe it's just hope, and maybe next week we're laughing at me, but dude, I'm going in with the hope that Jett and Eli they're gonna battle, and Eli has a shot at it, and I would love to see him at least get a moto win so we could put the 22-0 talk out. I would love to get that out of the way as soon as possible because oh god, I don't want to get halfway into this thing and have to talk about this.
Listen, if they found some things on the bikes that worked better, and Jett's gonna get stronger and faster, oh boy. But yeah, let's cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah. Daniel, you did want to talk a little bit about the pro circuit, Mitch Payton, about maybe being a bit bittersweet here. And I guess you're thinking about like, good job, Marchbanks and Seth, but oh my, Levi.
Well, I'd say overall, if you look at the results, you're probably not stoked because they didn't have anyone in the top 5. And that's a team that goes in with the idea that they're going to be chasing wins, if not multiple guys on the podium. I mean, that's the expectation, but I think it's bittersweet, man, because that team has been so beat up over the years and even this year. And then they show up with 5 riders under the – right? Yeah, because it's true. Yeah, 5 riders under the truck. I think they got all 5 going to Hangtown. Like, to me, it's like you got to find some wins in the losses. And last year, remember, they had Kitchen, and then they had to go and get Masterpool on Friday and take him to Paris Raceway and break in a bike so he could race. I mean, that's what last year was. This year they had 5 riders, and they're leaving with 5, and that's at least a positive in that way. And maybe that's the start of a new trend on their health, I guess I would say. I feel bad for that team. Every year we're like, oh my God, poor Mitch. We always see the memes out there of him drinking, the Jordan face. I've seen all that stuff, and it's like, I would rather have the results be off, but at least he's going to bat with a full team than just be like, dude, the guy's got one guy under the truck again. But at the same time, Kitchen, I think you're probably with me. Like that one's over. Like you're not coming back from 38 down on Hayden Deegan. And he's going to have probably okay weekends here and there, but dude, the championship's done for a guy who was probably going into it thinking he had a shot. And that's got to suck for Mitch too. Cause I would say his best bet at it was that guy. So, yeah, some positives and some minuses for Mitch.
I don't think it's done. It's really, really bleak. 38 is not the end of the world, but yes, not looking very good. I would say if Sexton races this weekend, he's done. 50 is too much, but 38. Yeah, but I'm saying 38 is we've seen riders come back for more and all of that, but yes, not looking good. I talked to Mitch after the first moto, and I was like, hey, really nice job going 6, 7, 8, 9 or whatever. I said, that's a good job on 10.
6, 7,
I said,
8,
good
9,
job.
10.
And he looks at me and he goes, I'd like it the other way around though. I'd like it flipped. And I go, yeah, we wouldn't we all?
Beggars can't be choosers, man. You had 5 riders out there, and Marchbanks was good.
Marchbanks was really good. Yeah. I like how Phil
passed people.
Phil has thrown in, obviously Phil is buddies with Marchbanks, and he's thrown in the Pulp Show, I think 2 weeks in a row or 2 out of the last 3 weeks. Let's hope Mitch signs him back. Mitch better sign him back. Like he's lobbying publicly for G to get that contract for next year. So I always thought that was pretty funny.
The math would say it's him or Masterpool. So I mean, with Drew Adams getting in there officially now, it's him or Masterpool. And Marchbank's got 2 podiums indoors, man. He got 2 podiums on Supercross, and he's so far the best guy outdoors. And I mean, to me, I don't know what the debate is really.
I don't know how to say this. I believe that Mitch Payton is over Masterpool. That's all. I'll just over. Just not copacetic with Ty's reasons for not racing and things like that. Now, as we've said, Mitch will hire a serial killer if he wins. So Ty needs to get on the box or wins to keep that ride. I firmly believe that, just from little tidbits, the things that I pick up here and there along the way. So
I would say the old debate comes back. It's a Supercross. There is no Supercross there, and we get caught up in the summertime during the summertime because it's what's right in front of us. But remember, the decisions usually are swayed by the indoor stuff, and he doesn't have that. That to me is the only issue. Outdoors, I'm a Masterpool believer outdoors, man, but it's hard to make it when you have to flip a coin. It's hard when one of them isn't a Supercross guy. That's just It's a bummer, but that is just the reality all these years later. So I hate saying that as someone that likes Masterpool, but it's just the facts.
To me, Marchbanks, he's so big, he just won't get starts. He physically cannot get starts being that big. He can get the odd one. He can pull them here and there, but to win a championship, to win races, you got to get starts in Supercross. And because of his size, he cannot do it. He will get it here and there, don't get me wrong, but to consistently be there, if I'm a team manager, I'm just looking at him being like, dude, 170 pounds, man. You're not going to be able to do that. So let's bring in Kellen for a second. Kellen, like on the Shimoda thing, obviously that was your take that you don't necessarily believe in, but you were claiming it already, like the fraud that you are. But honestly, like I still think Hymas is better, and I think we'll see Levi being better, but maybe not. Do you think, Kellen? Do you think he can keep it up here?
Well, yeah. I mean, the only reason I even made the prediction in the first place was just based on history that Joe has actually been here. Like Hymas is finally here and getting to this point, and Kitchen's at least somewhat recently been able to stabilize and be more of a consistent guy, because in the past he was like a first or ninth, and then last year it was much more like first or fourth or first or third and that kind of thing. But Joe legitimately had stretches in the last handful of years where he would just go on runs and be a guy that could do that. So I think that he absolutely can do it. Do I still believe it's going to happen? I don't know, because he's had this happen already this year where like we think everything's going great, and obviously the hand injury took it away, but I don't know that he ever got back to Anaheim 1 Joe Shimoda for the rest of Supercross, and he was 100% healthy by Seattle. So he just as easily be off the rails next week, I feel like.
Sure sounded like he was leaving Honda, though, from Monday's interview, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you take it? Yeah. So we'll see where he goes from there.
But if that's happening, then that to me is Pro Circuit, and if that's happening, then there is no Marchbanks at Pro Circuit. So that's where I guess if I know we're bridging into silly season stuff, but what? What about what?
Well, I think the KTM group was after him.
I had heard that too about a month ago, and then I heard a week or two ago they weren't. So maybe they are. Who knows? I mean, okay, there you go. There's the Vial spot, maybe.
So when we were discussing, okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying if Vial goes up, then I mean KTM currently has one 250 guy right now, and you typically don't want to go to one coast and have nothing. So maybe that just absolutely worked out in the timing of everything KTM too. Maybe you're right. Maybe that is the spot. I know this is crazy, and I'm not trying to go. It's not a racial take at all. But it's really. He's a Japanese rider, and I just feel like it just feels weird to me that you would see a Japanese rider on a brand that's not Japanese. And I know that sounds a little weird, but maybe it's not weird.
No, you know I mean? I agree with you. Yeah, if I'm some guy in Japan that controls the checkbooks, I'm like, hey, this is a great kid for us. Yeah,
the great kid for us. He's the best Japanese racer. I mean, I'm not going to go in the history books forever, but in the last 2 decades for sure. And it's like it's weird to me to think that he wouldn't be with one of those brands, and one of those brands would even, I'm not saying allow it, but even let that happen. Really?
Akira Narita is online too, sir, and he is not happy with you.
I I said decades, and I raced him decades ago, so I know Akira Narita. Okay, I do, but again, it would be a weird look for me. That's all. For those unique reasons, there's not 10 Japanese riders coming out of Japan. There's one. He's very special in that class, and I feel like it would be a little odd. That's all.
Can I interject a question to both of you about Joe? As you said, staying within the a Japanese brand at some point. Bobby Regan loves signing guys that are so close but never like fully find their potential. Why is that never an option? Like, I never ever hear of like, oh, of the 90 people that Bobby would sign, Joe Shimoda's near the front of the list.
Maybe he is now. Who knows? That guy might do. Yeah, I mean,
I also at the same time I would say for fit reasons, I don't think Joe would fit very well in that program. I don't, personality wise, just the way they run it and the way he is. I don't see that. But I mean, as far as I could see Star wanting him very, very, I can see them all wanting him. He's still one of the best 250 riders, period. And then again with Honda, I don't know enough to know why he's not staying there, other than because then if he goes, then they have an empty spot too. Now all of a sudden Honda only has one guy on one coast, and they're not going to do that either. So
yeah, they were sniffing around Levi before he signed the extension. I know that, and I'd heard
that for sure. But what happens if he goes? I mean, then what does Honda do? Where's your next move? Seems like a weird one for them.
Troy Lee Designs, Race Tech, Blair Matthes Project, ASV Levers, our guy. Bob at ASV, great guy, and the code PulpMX, all caps, for 20% off ASV levers. They've joined forces with Jeff Emig and ODI Grips to offer the ASV Emig ODI Pro Pack Plus. What you get in this, you get Emig branded F4 Pro lever set, ASV dust covers, Emig branded rotator clamps for the bar, ASV reservoir caps, a matching set of ODI Emig V2 lock-on grips, all in matching colors, $47. What a deal! Limited black, gold, and white colorway available now. Fro brought this up when he was in studio for the PulpMX show a while ago. So I saw this little kit that they're doing. It's pretty cool. The code is PulpMX, all caps at ASV to save on this and anything else. And I want to thank the folks at Decal Works as well. Sean, Ron, Nick, and the boys at Decal Works, Red Bull KTM using their graphics, Husqvarna Off-Road as well. From the wild to the mild, they'll dial you in. The code is PulpMX25 to save at decalmx.com. They'll design the graphics however you want. If you're one of those weirdos like Darkside and you want 20 stickers on your front fender, they will do that. And then they'll show you the proof, and then you'll throw up, and then you'll decide to not do that. But the guys at DecalMX will dial you in with stickers for whatever you need, whatever year and make and model. And the code is PulpMX25 as well to save with decalmx.com. Now, when we kick around topics for this Blair Matthes show, we go back and forth with the text, Kellen and Daniel and myself and this and that. And then Daniel comes in with Michael Mosiman. And I'm just like, all right, man. Look, he rode well at Paula. Absolutely. He was underrated at Paula. But, yeah, Daniel, let's talk Michael Mosiman. Let's do this.
Maybe factory Honda if Shimoda moves on. I don't know. I mean, he was good, and he was good at Salt Lake. He got 5th at the Showdown, and honestly, he's the most untalked about, underrated. Sometimes you don't even know he's there, and you're like, oh, 5th.
Sometimes he doesn't know he's there.
Look, he is by far, I would say, probably the most unique rider in the pit area. Fair? Is that fair? Unique?
Yes.
Safe word for Michael. He's a unique character. Yep. I bring him up because he's been really good now at 2 races. Salt Lake and Paul. Paul was, I wouldn't say really good, but it's pretty good.
Yeah,
he's going. We're going to Hangtown, man. That's his hometown track, and I'm just telling y'all, don't be shocked. I mean, don't be mad at me if he sucks this weekend, all you fantasy people. But Michael Mosiman has got a shot to be really good at Hangtown this weekend. I'm just warning y'all.
That is a fair take. He will qualify well. Star Yamaha bike. It's a hometown track, and he might break your hearts in PulpMX Fantasy, or he might end up fifth overall. Yeah, no, you're right.
Exactly.
I just didn't think Michael Mosiman was coming in here, but.
Well, we got to talk about the guy when he gets the least amount of press for a guy who does pretty good. I just wanted to give him a little shout out, man. He's done 2 good ones in a row, and he's going to his hometown race. And you're right, he's either getting 4th this weekend or he's going to have a rough one. Yeah, 34th. I'm just telling you, he's going to bring some emotion to the hometown race. But he's been riding good, so I had to recognize the guy.
I said this on the review show, but shout out Parker Ross. I thought he rode really well. He moved forward both motos on the Bar X Yamaha bike. So good job, Parker Ross. Dylan Schwartz in the second moto as well. Moved up really good as well for those guys. And then I thought that Guillaume and Pacharel, Kellen was hovering by those pits all day long. He loves the MXGP guys. And they both did really well. I guarantee you the SoCal Moto fans are like, what in the hell are those guys doing? Shades of Boutron and Pep. But, yeah, they were good for sure.
Kellen, were you really hovering?
In a way, I guess, because I was under the Rock River tent talking to Hard Dog for a long time. I was not hanging out with Gio. But no, I was keen to see how they would do because I was high on them as well, as were, I feel like, many people. But I feel like they fit in right where I expected them to, which is good. It's just weird that it doesn't ever translate to the higher end. Like Lewis and I have been talking about this. Like, why do Prado and Vial and now Harup struggle? And they're the more high-end upper echelon guys. But these guys come over and they just fit right in, no problem. So there you go.
Yeah, they were pretty good. And back to local, Parker Ross is a Hangtown local, Steve. He actually grew up 15 minutes from me. He's probably 25, 30 minutes from Hangtown. So I think he's going to be really good too. And I had Matt Burkina on my podcast this week, and he had a prediction, and I agree with that 100%. That dude is going to be a second moto absolute killer. He's really strong. He's always been made for pro nationals. He kind of struggled in amateurs. He didn't really fit the amateur world all the way. Kind of one of those guys where you're like, yeah, he's going to be a better pro, and he's proving that. So I'll go with the second moto hype. I think he's going to be really good in all the second motos this year when it gets tougher. With that heat this weekend, hometown race, I wouldn't be shocked if Parker Ross has even a better ride than he did at Paula.
All right, before we get to some silly season stuff, thank you to firepowerparts.com. Batteries, Featherlight lithium batteries, chains, stands, ramps. Daniel knows all about that. Firepowerparts.com. They're part of the ClubMX team as well. They help those guys out. We'll get to that ClubMX segment right away, too. And also thanks to the folks at Maxxis Tires. I got the hat on. The Scoop Tire. Running on Freddie Noren. Now, Freddie didn't have the greatest day. I lost money on Fred Noren because I thought he would beat Pacharel. So I lost that bet. But still, we love you, Freddie. If you finish all 11 nationals, you're going to be one back of John Dowd for the most 450 nationals competed, which is crazy. Seth Rarick was just like, no, that's not true. No, it's not true. And I'm like, yeah, Seth, it is. Here's his no. And I'm like, well, he raced in 2011. Seth's like, no. And I'm like, well, the vault says he did. And Seth's just like, no. So I don't know. Anyways, Fred Noren, Maxxis Tires, running it as well. Lapucci was there on a international supercross race team, Cowie, and he ran Maxxis Tires as well. Lewis Phillips with the insane take on Twitter about Lapucci before Paula, but that never even came possibly close to coming true. Maxxis.com, great mountain bike tires as well. Thank you to those guys for all that they do. And, of course, Alpine Stars, Decal Works, ASV Levers, Zool's, Seat Concepts, and Troy Lee Designs and Racetech. Email us using the contact form on Pulp if you want to save with TLD. Tell Racetech you listen to this dumb show, and you'll save on that too. All right, let's get into the club day. But, Daniel, you can't talk about Max Volan as good as Kellen can talk about Max Volan. So even though you work at ClubMX, Daniel, let the Max Volan expert speak on Maximus's day.
So we want a reaction from Fox Raceway is what you're saying here.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you think, Kellen?
It was.
Were we happy? Were we mad? What were we like? No, I don't mean Maximus. I mean you, the super fan.
I'm happy that the result was P9 at the end of the day because we were not happy after qualifying. We were not feeling good.
Okay. All right.
We took a very heavy nap after qualifying that we were not feeling too great about it, and we very aggressively rode the bike in the pits as well. So no, it was a good turnaround. I think that he started with Fedortsov like back end of the top 20-ish area and just rode forward, which I thought was really good. Like he caught up to the Levi, who else was in that battle? The Mosiman and Jordan Smith was in it, and like he caught the tail end of that group and passed Levi, then Levi passed him back. So I thought that was good. And then second moto was just an overall better start. He lost a couple positions early, but then rode better from there. So I know he wasn't thrilled overall with like how he felt on the day, but I think at the end the result was much better than it could have been. By
the way, ex-club rider Mark Finnis didn't even make the motos. The man led High Point. He led High Point. He's not making the motos, a PRMX. Kellen Julian at PRMX. He's not happy.
We already joked on the LVK show today that like he's probably already driving the track back into Canada to see if we can make the first round of nationals this weekend. So yeah.
Right. All right, Kellen. Sorry, thank you, Kellen, for the Max Volan update. Now, Daniel, the man who does work at ClubMX, what'd you think of the team's day?
Bum for Cody. Obviously, the second moto, I hated that for him, and then didn't really know what happened. Talked to him today. He's fine. He got beat up a little bit body wise, but nothing specific. More like whole body.
What did he do? I know he crashed, but did he say what he did? Because he was way back.
No, I mean, I'm not exactly even sure. He just said that he took a pretty good shot, and then it was pretty much like his whole back, and he went and got some chiro work done. He says he feels okay, and he'll be all right. But
okay.
Because
he was like, I don't know if it was early in the moto, first or second, third lap, and then he was 30 seconds behind 39th. He was so far back.
way back. And it was a bummer. First moto was okay. Same thing, not 100% comfortable. That one of the issues, and it's not really just it's everybody. So this isn't like a specific Max and Cody issue. Was that? I mean, they were pushing Supercross to the very end. I mean, on this show, the week before Salt Lake, they were out still riding Supercross. And so it's going to take them a round or two to get all the way comfortable. So I wasn't really shocked that they weren't 100% there. Max, again, did ride and very smartly to get that 9th overall. He was nothing compared to what he's going to be once he gets going. He's riding really good back at Club. But again, it's got to translate at the track once you get back on him. And he hasn't raced. He missed all last year's summer. So they're kind of like Prado, kind of like Jamar. I feel like it's just going to every week get a little bit better until we get to probably High Point, and then you'll see more the reality of probably him and Cody. And then Alex Federstoff already said happy with him getting the 18th. But I'll tell you about today. It poured down rain the last 2 days, so they rode in the mud. And today was a full blown mudder. It was cold. I mean, Alex had a jacket on, so they're in for a absolute temperature shock over the next 24 hours when they get out there. But you got to ride. I mean, that was kind of the idea, was like, what do you do? Take it off just because? Like, there's going to be probably a mud round at some point this year, so what are you going to do about it? You prep for it and you ride. And even Shock today was testing. He was testing forks in the mud. They did starts in the mud. Gavin Towers was there. Freddie Noren. I will give Freddie a shout out today. I watched him in the rain, working on his own bike, getting poured on. He's just out there getting his bike ready. He did all of his own he did all his motos. Then he's loading up. He's muddy as can be. He did it all by himself. And so for you Freddie fans out there, the dude has got unlimited heart, and he's doing it all on his own out in the mud today. So that was that. We also, Steve, we did have our Wednesday team meeting with all the staff, and something pretty cool was when the itinerary sheet went out, there was a new name on it, and that would be mine, because I am going to Hangtown this weekend. So I'm flying out with the team tomorrow. I'm actually flying with the mechanics. So I'm going early Thursday and doing the red eye Sunday night because it is a hometown race for me and I want to see family. So I wanted to go early and stay late. So that was pretty cool because I was actually on the sheet this week, Steve. I'm headed to a dirt bike race, which is cool. And then other than that, we did have a meeting with Jett Reynolds just to go over timelines and try to figure out his best return date because we're working him back from injury. And he should be back on the bike here probably in the next week or two, and then we'll work it as he gets ready. And then we are sending a combine racer or an SMX Next outdoor racer this weekend, Jessen Turner. I don't know if you remember, he's a kid. He got third at Daytona, and then he also was running third at Pittsburgh and crashed late, ended up sixth. Kind of a late entry, but we got him in. He's going to fly out and do his first ever combine. And then we also had a meeting today with Ryder Malinowski, who is not racing just yet. He is doing Canadian Nationals when he returns from injury, and he'll be back for the combines when he's ready. But he's about a week later. Well, he's being pushed back about a week, maybe a week or two than what we thought, just from a thumb injury from Pittsburgh. So a lot of that type of stuff in the rainy day. But overall, good day. Like I said, I'm going to Hangtown. I'm excited to go with the team. I haven't been with them to the races yet. And big old shock in temperature for the boys because they were riding in the cold mud today, and they'll be in 105 degrees Friday. So
T-minus 3 days till our guy, ClubMX's part-time rider, Phil Nicoletti, kicks off his Canadian season. Do we have an update on Phil's week? Okay.
We do. Over the last 2 weeks, he's been actually putting in the work. He's been impressive. He's been feeling it. He says he feels good. And then today he showed up. He was late. He did not show up for the first riding session. He let everyone else go get muddy, and then he rolls out very carefully, kept his gear super clean. There was a big step up he wouldn't do for a while, and I can't imagine what he was thinking all the way, but I would lean towards he was not happy with the situation. I don't think he was impressed with the rain, probably didn't want to be there, but he did finally do a few laps, but he didn't do them with anyone that was going fast, I think as a way to not get roosted and maybe not get smoked on a day that I don't think he was very motivated. And he did flip me off today, so I think we're back.
Okay. All right. Well, off day for Phillip today. But hopefully he pulls it together for Calgary this weekend. Silly season stuff. I just tweeted this the other day. If I had to guess, I put it out there on Twitter just from things I know, things I think, talking to people. Eli Tomac goes Red Bull KTM. Chase Sexton goes Monster Energy Kawasaki. Malcolm stays with the team he's on now, but they're going gas, and Husqvarna is going to be off-road only. And then what else? Oh, Barsha and Anderson go to Ducati. Those are things that I think I hear. DB, can you correct me on any of this or confirm any of this? What you hear?
The only things that I've heard differently, but this would be maybe a week or two ago, was that there was some Malcolm Triumph talks at one point. I don't know if that just lost steam or if that's still in play or not, but I have heard, like you, that the Husqvarna thing, or what would be the gas gas thing, probably works itself out. And then with Ducati, I do believe that the attempt was to try to get Eli, and I don't think that is happening. But I didn't know that they were going to go with two, an Anderson and Barsha duo. And I just got to be honest with you, reading that made me laugh because those two in a truck together.
Yeah.
I mean, do they have to sit them down first and say, hey, guys, listen, I know you're 32, but it's time for you guys to maybe make up and get along here, because when I saw you on Twitter put that, I laughed out loud because I thought those two together in a truck on a new program where there's going to be bumps and learning curves, I just feel like, God, that could be a wild one. I mean, to me, Hard Knocks always has football Hard Knocks. Oh man, that would be the team I'd want. You put a camera on that team for the year. There's your Hard Knocks of Supercross. It wouldn't be any better than those two if they actually do both of them. So that's the only thing that I'm a little uncertain of, because I didn't know they were going to.
And I know that HEP Suzuki's sniffing around. They've talked to Barsha. They've talked to Anderson. They want to make it happen. So there is that possibility. Like this, as I said on Twitter, this was my guess. It's not. I'm not stamping any of this stuff. But Hep's looking for a second big name guy. And then, of course, DB, I know, I don't know how much you can say, but you guys are, ClubMX is looking for a big name guy and trying to get it. So there's still some people out there, and you are two of the teams that I can think of that are looking to get one of these big name guys. But honestly, I think they go to Ducati. If I had to guess.
Yeah. No, I can be transparent and share. When I got the job here, one of my duties was to understand the market. So we talked to everybody. I talked to Eli and John Tomac multiple times. Talked to Justin Cooper multiple times. I didn't speak to Anderson. There was conversations before I got there, but I talked to Justin Barsha multiple times. So we definitely, I would say, were more than are in the market for a 450 guy. But I had to learn what the market looked like at the 450 level, because if it was possible to pull something off, we would want to do that as a program. So I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, for us, we are a predominant 250 program, so that's where most of the attention has been the entire time. But at the same time, just sniffing around and seeing what it looked like in case musical chairs landed a certain way that we would be able to take a leap on one of them. So I talked to everybody, and just straight up between us three here and everybody now listening, it was a cool learning experience for me to understand how that worked, because again, I'm coming from amateurs and that's a whole different world. So I learned a lot at the 450 level just in the conversations that will help me when we get to 250 stuff and we kind of pin down what we're going to do there. So it was cool. It was very fun. And but no, I don't think anything's happening for us at that level.
I think one of the things that kind of did you guys in, from what I hear, is obviously FXR is a big part of your program. They're the title sponsor, and they would have to kick in for a big dog to go on ClubMX, but they got a big dog in Malcolm Stewart. So they kind of stepped up and had to do that. And I don't know if, from what I hear from their side, if you guys went to them and said, hey, we need a little extra money. I don't know if it's there. So, and then you might have somebody riding different gear under your truck, and that's not always ideal. You guys have been branded, done such a great job with FXR over the years. So that's something that fans may not think about when it comes to negotiations. So
No, and 100% at the 450 level, the gear thing is a real thing because these guys have these long-standing relationships, and obviously they want to keep those. And for us, that was a non-negotiable. FXR is a massive part of our program. I mean, when I think of club, I think of FXR, and to me, it wouldn't even make sense from a team side because club is such about unity and such about being a team. Everyone rides together. I mean, it's so built that way that it would be odd to have a guy wearing something else because it just, I don't know, it wouldn't really make sense for this type of team. So yeah, it was a non-negotiable, and then that obviously limits what you can and can't do and puts more pressure on the team to finance the rest, and there's a limit to what we would be willing to do at that level. So no, you're right, but at the end of the day, again, we're predominantly a 250 team. 3 of our spots are filled with Cody, Max, and Alex Federstoff, and depending on what we do next year, we could go 4 or 5 or even 6 250 riders depending on what we want to do. So that's where the attention is now, and we'll start making those decisions probably in the next month and a half or so.
All right, TLD, Race Tech, Blair Matthes Project. Time for the fantasy picks. I was actually pretty surprised we were as good as we were. Outdoors is so much variance with 2 motos, and everything else were based on overall picks. One thing stays the same, though. I win again. Absolutely. I was only up by 1. I only beat you by 1, Daniel, after round 1 picks. So you had AP, and you were 3 off because you said 7th, and he got 4th. I liked all your picks, though, last week. I remember nodding, being like, okay. Nichols, 12th. And he got 16th, so you were 4 off. Wait, yeah. Hammaker, 6th. You said 6th, he got 7th. Good job, +1. And Faulkner, 15th. You said 15th, he got 25th, but he had some bad luck, and so that's not all on you. Austin Faulkner didn't just ride himself to 25th, but that's what I thought more what we'd see in these fantasy picks for outdoors is that kind of shit going on. So you were 10 off on that one. Malcolm Stewart, that's my mulligan there because I said 9th and he was around 9th and then he went down and didn't finish second moto, so he got 15th. Pacharel, I said 12th, he got 10th. That's a good job by me. Vial, I said 2nd, he got 3rd, +1. And Harup, again, I said 7th, he got 15th, and that was more of a just missed that one on that one, 8th. So the fraud is not happy that I won again, and I'm sure his picks will represent some screwing over of Steve Matthes, but I will overcome. I will overcome the odds and win again.
I think I'm going to just start talking trash on Kellen because maybe that's what I need to win because you've just trashed him since the very first episode. I feel like you've gotten the better end of every week, yet you continue to hammer. So,
no,
yeah,
he
Kellen,
wants you to win. He wants you to win. Absolutely.
I don't feel that.
Yeah, apologies for the Faulkner pick. I've been
you give me Austin Faulkner.
Yeah,
Steve.
I've been dragged through the mud a little bit on Twitter for that decision. All right, let's get into it though. This week, Hangtown is going to be hot as hell. So best of luck to both of you on all of these picks. We'll go with Steve first. How about Cooper Webb in the heat?
Webb was pretty good. Obviously, his bike broke, but I mean, dude, he was all over Prado. He didn't get him, but he was all over Prado. But I will go 7th place.
7th place, and then you're pretty stoked on this guy's ability not to quit this past weekend. So how about Derek Drake?
Dude, Derek Drake. I've shit on Derek Drake so much, and so I got to give him props. The dude charged forward both motos. He was like Parker Ross. He was like the same as Parker Ross, just 20th and would slowly move up. Okay, it's hot though. Oh, come on, Derek. Can we put 4 together? Can we put 4 motos in a row together? He was 14th in Paula. Kind of a local guy, though. So I'll go 17 in Hangtown.
All right, safe pick. I like it. Let's go back to the 250 class with you then, Steve. Joe Shimoda this week.
What do you? Well, no, Kellen, you make the pick for me.
Nope.
I don't
you're
play the big Shimoda guy.
This is not my game. I don't play the game.
You're the Shimoda expert, Shimoda whisperer.
I don't play the game.
Joe gets 4th.
4th for Shimoda. And then how about Casey Cochran? What does Casey do this weekend?
How many riders do we pick?
4.
4
every week.
Cochran was 12th. Him and Ryder D were. Someone said to me,
Cochran was good though. Cochran was really good for what he's been through. He was really good.
That's his first race of the year. Yeah. He got 12th at Paula.
He was fastest qualifier there last year.
He was. I was just thinking, wait a minute. Yeah. I'll go 12th again.
All right. Backing up the pick. I like it. Okay, over to you, DB.
I hate Steve's picks. That's probably exactly what I mean. To the number, man. That sucks.
Let's lead off with former Hangtown winner Jason Anderson.
So this is your web type pick for me. Let's go 7.
Should I just write all the same
Maybe.
results down?
It might end up. I mean, if you did your job right, then they should all be very close. So I'll go 7, Steve.
When you say Hangtown winner, did he win a moto or the overall at Hangtown?
Didn't he win the overall there in 22?
So that's his only 450 national win? He's got one, right?
He has 2. I think he has 2.
Well, I know he's won some motos, but okay.
I'm nervous about that. He could do better, but I'm going to go 7 to be safe.
Continuing on, how about Grant Harlan in the heat?
He's from Hawaii. I know that plays a role. You know,
dude, if the rain showers come, he will be dialed.
Yeah, if we get some 100 degrees rain showers, man, I'm going top 5. No, I'll go. Oh man, I'll go 12.
12th, all right, fair enough.
Okay. He's good. He's underrated too. He's really.
I'm telling you, Hardog is going to wear out Paturel and Guillaume. They beat him at Paula.
This weekend.
Those dudes
they're in for a rude awakening.
We were talking to Guillaume under the truck on Friday, and he was like, "It's so hot," and we're like, "Dude, it's 78 right now, right, Kellen?"
Yeah,
we're like, "You're going to have some problems."
Skip Hangtown, bro.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be brutal.
12 for Harlan.
All right, 12 for Harlan. Let's go to the 250 class. Shimoda's teammate, Chance Hymas, here this weekend.
3.
All right, 3rd for Hymas. And then Cochran's teammate, Ryder D.
Ryder D. All right. I think last week was a little underwhelming for where he actually is right now. I'm going to go 9.
9th. All right, There you guys go.
All right. Well,
best
of luck to me.
I went riskier for sure. You went pretty safe. I definitely took some more risks. But it's all right. Got to risk it for the biscuit. So I'm good. I'm ready. Hey, my hometown race. I'm good here. Actually, hey, you want to hear? Hold on. Do you want to hear a funny story, Steve? You're gonna love this one for my outdoor life. The year I rode for Geico Honda, 9th overall at East Coast Supercross, multiple top 10s, factory rider all year. I got back on my own Honda 450 at Hangtown, and I did not qualify on my own track.
That's a tough beat. That's a tough beat, man. Yeah.
Hey, you know what sucks too is when I came off of qualifying, I was like, man, I felt pretty good, and I was like 50 at the time. So there's some reality to my outdoor skills, boys.
Hey, it was crazy to me, and I was saying this to Kellen. Like Timmerman had to go to the LCQ. He was like 44th. Like he was not even close.
I thought he was going to miss, and then he put her down in the moto.
And then he makes the motos. He makes points in both motos. That's got to be a rare thing to see, a guy finish outside the top 40 in times and then get points both motos.
If I would have made it that year, I would have got top 20 both motos.
yeah, exactly. Sure. No. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching and listening. Blair Matthes Project, Troy Lee Designs, Race Tech. Use the codes. Please help us out. We appreciate it. And thanks to the Fraud, as always, for producing the show. And Daniel, enjoy Hangtown. I won't be there. I got this regional thing going on. But enjoy Hangtown in the heat.
Can't wait. See the family and enjoy the hot hills of Hangtown, man. Can't wait. And Kellen got out of it, too. Nice work, buddy.
Yeah, watch out for the dirt diggers, man. They're angry sometimes.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, everybody.